And welcome to our next podcast segment. This time we're going to be talking about anime. We're going to review a nice little anime series. I won't say nice. It sucked, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What did you think about it overall?
Overall, I'm torn because I like. Oh, by the way, what we're talking about is Coppelion.
Oh yeah, I probably should have mentioned that beforehand.
Yeah. Coppelion is we'll do some specs on it first. It's been produced by Viz Media, by Studio Gohans, which have also been responsible for things like Project No One Heard Of and Unimportant and K Project. K was good. Let's see. It's directed by Shingo Suzuki, and the music is by Mikio Endo, which I've heard of before, but I've neglected to look up what else he's done.
Yeah, it seems I've heard that name before. But basically, to give you a summary of what this is about, it's post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic.
Scene in capital Japan. In the capital of Japan, a nuclear plant gets destroyed, and a human-made chemical completely devastates the area. Along with earthquakes, it never explains the earthquakes.
Yeah, it doesn't explain the earthquakes. It's like radiation is a big deal in it. It takes place in 2016 is when the catastrophe occurs, and it's 20 years later that this story takes place. And the story revolves around 3 high school girls because they can do anything and are definitely the ones that would save the world in any sort of catastrophe.
Not just normal high school girls, are they, Kyle?
No, genetically engineered high school girls that are resistant to radiation poisoning.
They're completely immune. Of course, that throws people off because for some reason, it's a public thing to have a hazmat suit.
Right.
You notice that everybody in this anime has a hazmat suit, whether you're a old guy,
right,
or a 9-year-old girl.
No, everyone has hazmat suits. It's just a way of life because of how much radiation there is.
Maybe that's a good idea too. If you think about it, every time there's a nuclear fallout, it always starts out in Japan.
It's true. Well,
for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
There's a lot of radiation problems there.
That's true.
So,
but anyway, the 3 girls, Ibara Naruse and Aoi Fukasaku and Tyko Nomura are the 3 girls. Ibara Naruse is, of course,
she's the leader.
The leader. Then Aoi, I hate that name.
I do too.
Like not the name. If anyone out there is named Aoi, that's fine. But just saying it's just a bunch of vowels, and I can't pronounce it right. Aoi. But anyway, she's the happy one.
Yes. Not only that, but she talks about herself in third person.
Which
I find very annoying, let me tell you.
I don't know. I think it's kind of cute.
Well, we'll keep our own opinions about that.
Okay.
We'll agree to disagree.
She's also obsessive about food, and particularly rice balls.
Oh yeah. There is honestly, in the first episode, 5 minutes of this little 20-minute episode of her talking about how much she loves rice balls, how good they are.
So that's where
they are amazing.
5 minutes of that episode went, and not much else important happened in that first episode.
No.
So as far as episode 1, after you finished watching it, oh, by the way, also Tyko is the forgettable one.
She also loves animals.
Yeah.
She'll go up to this stray feral dog that's been around for 20 years in this contaminated environment and want to help him, want to pet him, and she finds out that's not a good idea.
She's the kind-hearted one out of the group, but also has the least amount of personality. And that is saying something for these girls.
She has a lot of powers, though.
That's true.
Which kind of makes up for it.
We'll discuss that in a second. But just general opinion. First episode, what did you think?
Worst pilot episode ever.
Yeah.
For anime.
It was pretty bad.
It was bad.
I've seen some bad ones. Okay, I can't say it's the worst pilot episode, because I've seen the first 3 episodes of Akikon, and that was terrible.
I haven't, so.
that was.
Then again, I don't think I'm missing out on much
You're
from the way
not
you
watching,
talk about it.
Yeah, you're not missing out on anything. But yeah, it was very lackluster. And they didn't really drop any plot hooks in the first episode, as you know.
It was just, hey, look at Japan. It's contaminated with radiation. We're 3 schoolgirls, and we're here.
And that's about as far as we got plot-wise.
Yeah. I mean, this is a big governmental agency that supports these 3,
right. Which they don't explain.
Genetically engineered schoolgirls. There's no explanation except the military commander behind it is called Gojo, I believe.
I think so.
They call him vice principal, so it's not Gojo, because that's principal.
Right, he's vice principal.
He's known as the vice principal, which kind of throws me off.
They also refer to him as Mustache later in the series.
Mr. Mustache, yeah. I kind of like that.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And he's a very Russian general stereotype.
Giant mustache.
Yeah, big old mustache, kind of beret and everything. But otherwise, there just wasn't much. And, okay, let's talk. Okay, second episode. What did you think?
I really don't know what to think. I had mixed feelings on it.
See, that second episode tore me up because I went into it thinking, boy, I hate this show. And then after I watched about 10 minutes of it, I was like, well, maybe.
Maybe. It has potential.
Their storytelling's getting a little better. I'm kind of interested to see what, they had dropped the whole...
There was actually a storyline.
Yeah, there was a storyline. I was kind of, there's a family there. Of course, if you've watched it already, they're trying to rescue this family's daughter, who's not really the woman's daughter.
Of course, it's really weird how they meet this guy. Do you remember how they meet this guy?
It was very late last night that I watched it. I really don't.
There was a dog that Tyko went after.
Oh yeah, he's insane.
That dog went to go kill her. Yeah. So he went and shot that. So this big old thug, he's a criminal too, which makes it even better.
Wait, no.
No, he wasn't.
No, he was a criminal.
He was.
No, he wasn't a criminal. His wife's a criminal.
His wife was.
But the dog didn't attack her. He attacked her, the guy, and the dog protected her. And he shot the dog because it was attacking him.
Then why did they even decide to help him in the first place?
But I don't know.
It's their job. It was their job, yes.
When they first run into him in the first episode, they leave it at a cliffhanger, and you're like, oh, this guy is like psycho bonkers crazy. But he has her, and he has a gun to her head, and he's like, "You're not getting my daughter." And then they're like, "Well, we'll help you, dude. Even though you just shot our dog and are trying to murder our friend." Which I thought was a little odd. But yeah, that's their job, to do that.
Job was to help people.
So, the wife is a convict because she murdered her first child. And that would have been the part where I was like, I'm not helping you crazy people. But then they have a very touching moment where she claims Aoi as her daughter. She's like, I would treat you as good as I treat my own daughter.
You're not a robot. You're not a puppet.
Yeah.
Because their big thing is they're these genetically engineered test tube babies.
Yeah, and they're referred to as dolls, right?
Dolls. Yeah, they're referred to as dolls. So they have this lingering feeling that they're not human.
Right, they're not human. They're being controlled.
They try to do all they can to be human or feel human.
Right. So that's a big thing. But yeah, overall, I was getting invested in the plot line at that point. I was like, okay, this could be good. The animation still bugged me, but we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, third episode. Final episode that we watched this week. What do you think?
I hated it.
Yeah.
I just straight up hated it. I'm sorry with all the negative thoughts on this, but there really wasn't much good stuff to say.
There wasn't a lot in that third episode, and I felt like they were really trying because they dropped so many plot hooks. You met the doctor who was responsible for the meltdown, or not responsible for the meltdown itself, but he built the plant. That had the meltdown.
So he would have known a lot.
Right, he would have.
Very important asset.
And that arc is still open, so it kind of left it a cliffhanger. So we're not sure how that resolves itself.
No idea.
But otherwise, a lot of their plot twists seemed really forced to me. They were trying to force you to be surprised by things, I can't remember an exact example, but I remember watching and thinking well, yeah, that's kind of obvious, but they were trying to use it as a driving device.
The delivery man thing.
Yeah. I saw that.
They viewed him as like this enemy. They're like, oh, we gotta catch the delivery man. But it ends up...
This organization is delivering supplies to people who are trapped in the city. But the government wants him to be stopped for some reason that we're not sure of yet.
Really doesn't make sense. They're supposed to be helping out these people. I mean, yes, most of them were escaped convicts from a prison. But...
Right. I think one of my issues with that was that in the previous episodes they didn't mention them enough. Like they had referred to them like, oh, there's a delivery man, that's how we're getting supplies. But they weren't big enough plot point for me to really care that they found them. It was just kind of like, there it is. Okay, now what I'm interested to talk about is the animation and some of the acting in it. Now, animation-wise, I'm going to give you my opinion first.
Go ahead.
The backgrounds and scenery is beautiful.
It was a beautiful series.
It's a gorgeous, as far as background animation goes. Gorgeous. The vehicles are all done in CG, which is really cool. And, the scenes that have the helicopter flying through the city were really cool to watch.
Yeah.
But then they show the characters. And personally, I hate their animation for the characters.
It could be worse.
It could. But it was kind of choppy. It got better in the second episode. The pilot was a lot choppier than the rest of it was. Mm-hmm. Something I noticed that they did. And you've watched Attack on Titan.
I've watched it.
Yeah. Yep. And I watched it and I liked it.
Awesome show.
Yeah. And something that Attack on Titan was known for in their animation was all their characters.
Technical issues. Camera died on us.
Very likely that'll happen again soon. So,
so back to what you were saying, Kyle.
Okay, I think where I was talking about Attack on Titan, the use of bold lines.
Yes.
So Attack on Titan, they use these bold lines to outline their characters, which is different from most anime, which uses a thin line, and because they want their features to be kind of delicate looking, and it gives it more of a comic book style look almost. American comics use really bold outlines.
Yeah.
And what I noticed in Coppelion is they imitate this. And that all the characters and everything have this really bold black outline. But their characters are not nearly as detailed as the Attack on Titan characters were.
No.
And the animation is not nearly as smooth either. And it just makes, I feel, that it just makes them stand out from the background too much. They don't look like they're part of the same animation.
No, it looks like they're just kind of spliced in there.
They almost look like coloring book characters.
Yeah.
That are inside a beautiful background.
Honestly, the background's probably the best part of this series.
Yeah, it's really...
Look around. It's pretty. It's beautiful. It's pretty realistic too. I mean,
very.
For an anime.
For an anime.
It's good. I loved it.
Now, here's the thing. Let's talk about voice actors. Or actresses, in this case. Most of the characters are female, of course. Now, Ibara Naruse, the main girl, is voiced by Haruka Tomatsu. Do you recognize her voice?
I do not. Has she been in previous anime?
Yes, actually several. One that you and I particularly like is she played Asuna Yuki in Sword Art Online.
Really?
Would you guess by her performance in this series?
I would have never guessed.
I'm sorry, but in Sword Art Online, she was really good. I loved Asuna as a character.
Yeah,
as a character. But in this, she's not very good. She's very poor. Her lines just sound so forced. And I don't know if it's... I hate to say it's her fault because she's a good actress. But I kind of think it's the writing in the show itself.
The writing wasn't the best. Have you ever looked at some of the manga beforehand?
No, I have not.
The manga was great.
Oh, really?
I'll be honest. I only saw a little bit of the manga, so I can't speak for it completely. But what I saw of it, I enjoyed. I loved it. If you are to watch Coppelion Don't bother watching Coppelion. I'll be honest.
For now. First 3 episodes.
For now. First 3 episodes. But the manga is really good. I'd suggest looking at it. It's good. I loved it.
I really like the opening theme song for it, though.
What was that?
I don't know.
Putting you on the spot.
Oh. I don't have that page saved on here.
So we don't know what the theme song
But it was a good theme song and good animation for it. It actually smoothed out quite a bit. Okay, here's another actress. Aoi Fukusaku is voiced by Kana Hanazawa.
Name sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
It does.
She voiced what we probably most recently watched is Mayuri in Steins Gate.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Would you have guessed that?
I would have never guessed.
Another one where she's just not doing so great. Mayuri had a very, very iconic, voice, and she was. Yes.
The theme song is from. The name of it is the person that did it is Angela, and I don't know the song title. I think the song title is Angel.
Angel. Angela. That sounds familiar. Did they do the Sword Art Online intro?
I don't know.
Look up and see what else they've done, because that sounds familiar. While we're talking about that,
at work.
Yeah,
no more video
that's
games.
why he's back there.
No more video games.
Yeah, Stop on Yoshi's Island. We have that on our production diary.
We have you playing.
Not
not you playing it, but we had it on screen that you were playing it.
Anyway, so yeah, Mayuri. She did some other characters who I forgot to take a screenshot of, but she's done a lot of characters that we would recognize, and she's done some good work. But just not the greatest in this series. And again, I think just the writing, her lines just aren't very good.
No.
They try to make her too childish for being 16. And I think the talking in third person is kind of cute myself. That's one of her redeeming qualities for me.
I won't say I was too fond of that.
Okay.
But
now
we'll agree to disagree, as we said before.
Now the forgettable one, Tyko Nomura. She's voiced by Satomi Akisaka. You know what else she's voiced?
I have no idea.
Like nothing.
Nothing.
This is literally
completely new voice actress.
She has a few video games and a couple low budget anime series under her belt. But
she was probably hoping on this to be a great start to voice acting in anime, and
fire her agent.
Really sorry to say, but that probably didn't work out well for her.
So for the first 3 episodes, we've covered animation, our first opinion, the plot line, acting. So for usually in a review, you'd also cover music.
The music was good.
I didn't notice it.
It was good when you could hear it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put it that way.
I heard a few little pieces that I was like, oh, that's kind of fitting for the moment. But other than that, I didn't notice the music at all.
No, it was very low. You could barely hear it.
Yeah. Now overall, okay, so we've taken music, animation, the voice acting, and our tech.
It is not by the same person. Apparently, it's by this Japanese indie band that's called Lisa.
Lisa, I knew it was an American name.
Crossing Fields is
Crossing Fields by Lisa.
Yeah.
It was a great song. Look it up.
I don't know if I'll remember to put a link in the description to that. But, if you're watching this, you've probably seen Sword Art Online. Or at least you should.
You should.
Shame on you if you haven't. Anyways, so taking it all into account, let's say 10 stars.
Out of 10 stars, I'll give it 6, to be fair.
6?
And that's being a little bit generous.
Yeah. I'm going to say 4.5 for me. I just was not impressed with that first episode. But if I saw something that got 4.5 out of 10 stars, I might give it a shot.
See, my reason on 6 out of 10 is it has the potential.
Yeah, I agree.
If you look at the storyline, it has great potential to be something great, to be something awesome. But of course, we only watched 3 episodes of it, so we don't know how it turned out in the end.
Now, aside from production values, you had mentioned to me earlier that you had an issue with their outfits.
Yes. Okay. I know it's a custom anime thing to have the cute little high school girls in their little school uniforms.
School uniforms are a big
seriously, it's a governmental agency trying to save these people from this contaminated environment.
They're nowhere near a school.
They're nowhere near a school. I mean, there's some obscure references to it being a school.
Right.
Like her calling him the vice principal. And I think they mentioned the training that they went under as part of a school.
They do.
But there's no purpose for them to be running around this dangerous environment in school uniforms.
Yeah.
I mean...
Now, on their side of the argument, they are camo colored.
They are? I never noticed that.
Look, they're like plaid camo colors.
Yeah,
So
I can see that. So
they're combat skirts.
combat skirts. That's what we'll call them.
Yeah.
Combat.
Yeah. I can't take too much credit for that term that was coined in Ruby, but Ruby, watch it.
Ruby, awesome anime. Love the animation in it. It's very different.
Very different. Well, it's Rooster Teeth production, so can't really call it anime, I guess, but it's based on. Yeah. Anyway, if you haven't watched it, watch it. RWBY, and we'll cover more on that later. Season 2 is coming out soon.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Awesome.
At
when?
RTX. June, I think.
June. Okay.
It premiered at RTX, and then it'll be on the next day online.
We might do a review of that later on. Now, these are all our opinions, what we thought about the show. Now, I did look up on myanimelist.com. Wait, can we say it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we can say websites.
I don't think we get any trouble for copyright on that. I don't think so.
Well, we'll have to check first.
My Anime List.
Before
Sponsored.
they get... We're not sponsored.
Your name could be here. Just like the Fine Brothers.
But I was looking at some of the reviews and just looking at what some people had to say. They were on par with our opinions. A lot of what we thought. I'll read a little bit of some of what these people had said. And here's from Stark700. He said, Coppelion is what I would describe as a beautiful anime gone straight to the underworld. I'm not referring to the artwork here because that's glamorous. What originally started as an alluring premise with promise turned into an abomination. Pretty strong words there, but
yeah,
I completely agree with you.
But unfortunately, that's a very common opinion. I think Annie.May gave it they gave it as one of the worst series of last year, which I don't know about that.
I don't know. That's a little harsh, but
and I could be wrong on that. I heard it somewhere. It was either through Anime Pulse or Annie.May. It was one of those.
Okay.
So don't quote me on that. Speaking of Annie.May, now you've used this site before, right?
I have.
I have too. One of my favorite sites for getting my anime-related news. And this is, our review's done. This is just a little bit on the news segment here. But they shut down.
They shut down. Annie.May. Completely
gone.
What happened?
Now, they were having trouble, according to their, let's see, I might have a page open for it. Annie.May is, this is at their, if you type in their address, which is Annie.me, is going back to the shop. They say, Dear fans, members, and supporters, thank you so much for being a part of Annie.May these past years. We've enjoyed being a part of your life and you being a part of ours. Sadly, as of March 2014, the current Annie.May site is being closed. Hopefully we'll find resources to relaunch better than ever, but for now at least we must take the site offline until we figure out what the long-term fate will be. And they say they're still active on Facebook.
Okay.
But this is due to a conflict between them and their site owners, their management. I guess there was some problems with the site that they didn't have enough money to fix, and then something was happening with the owner, and people were refusing to write for them for a short period of time, and then they weren't paying their writers.
That's a shame. It really is.
And it kind of ruined what was a really great site for news. And so there is a donate link on the NA.ME site, and they're claiming that if they can pay their writers the full amount and then have money to start back up, then NA.ME will be back in business. So if you're up to it, and if you're a fan of the site, head over to ani.me and click the donate button and help them out a little bit, and maybe we'll get them back again. Well, that's it for the anime portion of the Untitled podcast that remains untitled.
Still don't have a name for it.
Anyways, I'm Kyle.
I'm Bryce.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe because you're obligated to as a member of YouTube.
And we will see you next time.